Hello, everyone. How are you guys today? How is everybody? You guys, I would be coming on here all regular and prepped, but I'm trying to juggle keeping doing other things and then incorporating my lives. Okay, so just bear with me while I juggle this, because um, uh, I'm trying to get adjusted to it. So bear with me. But I wanted to jump on because I really enjoy communing with you guys. I really do. I was thinking for the majority of the day while I was doing other things about what I could talk about today. And I woke up this morning with a number of things on my mind. And I'm at a turning point where, have you ever been before a mountain for so long and you've tried every avenue you could to overcome the mountain? You've tried hiking it from every direction. I'm trying to get this shadow out of my way, but you tried hiking it from every direction, and no matter what motivation you come with, each and every day to hike this mountain that is before you, you get nowhere. You're always back at point A. It's like you'll try to hike it and you'll get to a certain expanse at the mountain, and you find yourself right back where you started. And then you muster up the motivation to try your hand at it again, and you say, we got this. We're gonna capitalize off of the experience we've had before, and we're gonna try it again. And you try it again, and you find yourself back at that same place with it. And then you say, you know what? Okay, well, we got to keep trying. You know what I mean? We got to keep hammering it out. And you try it, and you try it, and you try it, and you always find yourself back at the same conversation, and that is, it didn't work before, and it didn't work before that, and this new way we tried it, that didn't work, and this new alternative to that didn't work, and this new philosophy, that didn't work, and that didn't work. And before you know it, you've exhausted every single thing you could in attacking the mountain. And you get to a point where you say, it's not a mindset problem. It's not a me problem. Like, I'm cool with getting beyond this mountain. I'm cool with doing whatever I need to do to rise to the occasion as a fully capable individual in attacking this mountain in a holistic way. And I've implemented those strategies, but I'm not able to get over it. I'm not able to get beyond this mountain. And you get to a point where you say, screw this mountain. I never wanted this mountain anyway. I've exhausted all avenues that are there for me to grow by way of attacking this mountain. I've exhausted every last one of them. Every avenue that I need to use that will grow me, grow my character, grow my state of being, grow my philosophy, grow my knowing of myself, grow my knowing of God, grow my knowing of people, to test the patience that I have, to test my limitations, to test my knowing of God within me, to test and to push my own self to heights that I never would have otherwise. I've exhausted all of them. Yet, those that may manufacture the sequence of events that cause the mountain to fall in my path have not. They don't stand a chance against me in that aspect. So it couldn't be because of some sort of lesson. I've become the teacher. Surely not a know-it-all. Surely not a guru. But who knows it all? And what's a guru? You get to the point, or a point, where you say, to hell with this mountain. To hell with this mountain. I tried to make heaven out of this mountain. I spent a lot of time trying to make heaven out of this mountain. And this mountain wanted hell. And because it couldn't get hell, it wanted me to stand before it, waste my time with it, because that's the best it could do. And you get to a point in your life where you say, to hell with this mountain. You want hell? Well, go to hell. Go straight to hell. I posted something just a moment ago where I asked a question. I really want to know the answer to this. I want to hear y'all's response to this from a personal level, not a professional level, not a ambitious, driven mindset, from a foundational level. What do you do when you feel as if you constantly find yourself in situations where you're the last to know? I honestly want to know that. Have you ever been in a situation where you feel like everybody else seems to feel, not know, feel as if they have a stronger grasp on your story, than you? Have you ever been in a situation like that? It could be in families where people feel like they know you better than you know you. And no matter what you tell them, it seems like there's always a sideline conversation that has happened that you were never privy to. And because of that, you can never dispel the lie. You can't dispel it, because that's what those conversations were designed for you never to dispel them. They were designed to keep you in an ambiguous state so you never shine a light on the lie. It's as if all the people that are privy to the lie are somewhat sold on that aspect of the lie, the frame. The frame, y'all. They're sold on the framework. And they themselves want to keep you there. It's as if they're all benefiting in some way off of the framework. Holler if you hear me. There's something in it for them and nothing in it for you. Nothing. You're the least happy. You're the least beneficial. Everybody is excited about what they can get from you, from being in your vicinity or being attached to you in whatever way. But you get the least out the deal. Yet whatever it is that you have is the prize. Vampires. Just vampires. Friend, when did we get to this as a group of people? in. Is everybody so disconnected from themselves that they can't see the truth that is so blatantly presenting itself right in front of everybody's eyes? Y'all, I'm telling you, these are some interesting times that we are living in. Bottom feeders. Bottom feeders, y'all. I know many of you can relate. I know you can. You ever walked into a room and you felt like people were talking about you, or they knew something about you and you didn't know? And now you're there and they're trying to act like they don't know anything about you, that they could care less about you, but they really, really, really care. Yet nobody says anything because they don't really want to know. They'll even critique you on your truth that you tell them as if they know better. It's amazing. It's amazing. Joseph had the same type of life. Joseph and all of his brothers. You could think of Joseph's brothers as friends, his brethren. Many of you surrounded by Joseph's, people that are just brethren. And they see you coming, and they have conversations before you enter into the room. And then you get there and they act totally different, knowing darn well they don't feel that way. And you know they don't feel that way. But you don't care because you feel that way about you. But because you're such a team player, you're cool with it. You're like, okay, well, fine, whatever. I can help them. Meanwhile, they're plotting on you. And all of them know of the plot. And nobody says anything. Ain't that some mess? Nobody. Nobody has enough courage. Nobody has enough love to say this. No. Nobody. And they sit around and they allow things to happen that they would never want for themselves or anyone that they love. And what should have been love for Joseph in the form of care and concern was not. They turned the other cheek. They took on the mantle of disempowerment. They allowed themselves to act as if they didn't have any options, as if their hands were tied, as if they were limited in some way of helping their own brethren. They did nothing. It was better he didn't know them. Yet he would be blessed. What would be designed to harm him in the worst way for nothing. The lies that they piled upon the activities they did to harm him, to premeditatively harm him, the lies that they projected to the one that really loved him. All to cover themselves up. They would spend many years fabricating anytime it showed itself. They would remember the lie. No one looked for Joseph. It seemed like it was the truth. No one questioned it. But it was all a lie. A half-truth. Yes, he was in a distressed state. But why? He had fallen into a pit. No, he was put in a pit. And he goes and he's sold and he's sold and he goes from one situation to the next. In each instance, people that he comes into contact with would sense a discrepancy in his state of being. He doesn't seem to be the type of person that should be able to wear the mantle in which he is presented wearing. He doesn't seem like a slave. He doesn't carry himself like a slave. It's not adding up. But shoot, I'ma capitalize on it. I got me some labor. Where else would I get this? And Potiphar would allow the spiritual water to flow through him. And he would accept Joseph for what he saw in Joseph. He wasn't jealous of Joseph. He wasn't afraid of Joseph. God bless the Potiphars of the world. No complaining, just observations and accountability. What do you do when you're the last to know? You observe. You allow God to show you. Friend, I'm here to tell you that God will show you things that people think you only see very little of. But God will show you the truth, the fullness of it. Not in some overwhelming, light in the dark, deja vu, monumental, prophetic experience type of way. That ain't how it happens. That's witchcraft in today's way. You have many in this society that have mastered the art of projection, whether it's in the dream world or in the waking reality. What separates the two? I was thinking about this the other day. What separates the two? If they can't get you in the waking reality, they'll try it in the dream. I'm here to tell you. All they need is a projection that acts out an intention. That's it. They need you to agree. But when it's embedded in your code, when you are who you say you are, when you are connected to power and God has his attention upon you, God will step in. Even when the firewalls are down, and make those decisions for you. I'm here to tell you. We've discussed this before of this dream world thing, whereas the enemy will use dreams to find out information. And what goes on in the dream world when it has to do with the enemy coming to sabotage you in your dreams, it's changeable. The only thing that's not changeable is God's word. So that's good for you to know. Because if that's true, and you are on the fence as to if your dream was of God or of the enemy or all this type of stuff, you can change your mind after you've awoken from the dream. If God is the only one that can have a fixed stance on his word, then everything else is up for grabs. You are able to control everything else. So you destroy it. And if it's of God, then it's of God. It'll show itself. If it's not, it's destroyed. Friend. We're living in some interesting times, y'all. We're living in some interesting times. I was thinking about, I read somewhere on social media where someone was talking about, you can't be out here, how certain systems don't want people waking up and all this type of stuff. And I'm thinking, waking up to what? Friend, I surf social media and I be seeing stuff that even I don't know how to speak to. There's some high-level thinkers out here. Honestly, I don't know if y'all been looking around or not. It's some high-level thinkers out here that are light years beyond anything that I'm discussing. I'm helping people understand the Bible. They're giving Bibles out for free. I'm pulling from biblical word. They got churches on every corner, everywhere in America. More churches than anything. So it couldn't be anything that I'm talking about. And this is the thing. This is what makes me try, people accept just anything. I could go through the library of my content. Everything that I'm speaking to is very fundamental. It's nothing high level. You can order an Apocrypha off of Amazon for $13. They got so many variations of the Apocrypha on Amazon, it's not even funny. Pseudepigrapha, Apocrypha, they got the Septuagint, they got the Midrash, they got the Talmud, they got all types of Judaic texts. Expensive books. Have you checked the price on them? Hundreds of dollars. I'm just speaking to my grandmother's Bible, friend. There ain't nothing high level about it. It's real fundamental. Meanwhile, I see people that I would watch closely for years that were speaking to things that at the time I couldn't even understand. Metaphysical concepts. I was like, dang, I don't understand. So it couldn't be because somebody is speaking to anything outlandish. Couldn't. Y'all been sold on the Kool-Aid somewhat. You've been drinking too much of the Kool-Aid. And because I don't know what type of Kool-Aid you've been drinking, I can't really say. And nobody wants to say that they've been drinking the Kool-Aid. But they have. They have. You know, I don't know. There's nothing controversial about it, honestly. Nothing. Nothing at all. It's some straight up Sunday Bible school, vacation Bible school kind of stuff going on, friend. Like, open up your books to the book of Samuel, Judges. We're going to talk about Judges, Deborah. Let's talk about Deborah. Let's talk about Barak. Let's talk about, what are we talking about? Samson. I mean, all of these stories are stories we've heard regurgitated time and time again. There's nothing top secret about it. It ain't. But that's the storyline, seem like. That's the story. Kudos to people that process such things. Kudos to you. Because you try to find the silver lining. You try to make sense of it. You try to be impactful in a way that's positive. It's enough negativity in the world. I woke up with that on my spirit this morning. I was angry. I was not angry. I feel like I had a choice of two roads. I could take a road of frustration, or I could take a road of passivity. You know what I mean? Like, and then I went on with my day, and I got to thinking about my day, like, throughout my day, thinking about it, like, what difference does it make? If you're upset and frustrated with your situation, you complaining about it ain't gonna solve nothing. It don't solve it. It just amplifies it. You know how you solve it? By moving. By keep moving around with a motivated, optimistic outlook on it. Because at the end of the day, we're all bound to the same laws and the same constraints. All of us. Even those that you're frustrated with. Friend, they all bound to the same laws and the same constraints that you are. What have you grown into in your life? When people come and revisit you, are you the same person you were last year? Are you the same person you were the year before last, and the year before that, and the year before that, and so on and so forth? Or are you progressively getting better? Can it be seen in your life? There's nothing wrong with taking accountability for where you are in your life and expressing how you feel about it. There's nothing wrong with that. But keep moving. Don't stay there in that. There's nothing wrong with expressing, like I said, your frustrations. Whether they be frustrations in the fact that in this season, you're seeing people that seem to feel like they got some kind of a upper hand or insider knowledge on your life. No one ever asks you. And then when you speak to you, people kind of side eye you or it becomes very quiet as if they feel like they know better. And it will take every ounce of the woman or the man in you to just allow it. Because anything outside of that lessens you. It brings you down to it. You begin explaining yourself to people that you don't have to explain yourself to. Those people don't require an explanation from you. And even if they said that they require one, they don't deserve it. Put it on my calendar. I'll think about it and let you know if I'm going to give you an explanation about my life. But at times, you do want to have groups of people around that you share your experiences with. You're human. It's how we're set up. But who's going to understand? They'll never understand, friend. They'll try. And because they want to know or they want to feel as if they do know, they'll act as if they understand, but they don't understand. You don't even fully understand. And you know more than anybody. Yet nobody's ever asked. Because they don't want to know. They don't want to know. Friend, them people don't want none of the problems you got. And you can't blame them. You don't even want them. But you handle them. And that's the part. That's what separates you. Is that they don't want none of the problems you have. And you don't even want them. But you handle them. That makes you a problem solver. You got keys that not many people have. And just like David, after he slew Goliath, he began experiencing next level experiences. That's where you are. You in next level experiences. And you're feeling like the king at certain intervals along his path. You get frustrated. It's not like you feel that way every day, but at certain intervals you get to that. And it's okay. It's okay. Much went on within a short period of David's life. From him being anointed by Samuel all the way to him becoming king of Israel. Much happened, y'all. We don't get the fullness by reading it in the book of Samuel and in the book of Kings, 1st and 2nd Samuel. We don't get the fullness of it. You got to cross-reference that with the book of Psalms. You see, the book of Psalms tells a whole nother story on David's walk. The book of Psalms tells you the details and how he was feeling amongst friends, and betrayals and fears and attacks and highs and lows, confusion, feeling as if God wasn't with him at times. He's coming forth in the book of Psalms like he's begging, friendless, no ally, but still moving forward into the unknown without anybody to cross-reference it to. Hunted by kings, by a king. With no way to rectify it. He don't even know what the problem is. Friend. A bounty on his head. Saul puts a bounty on his head, willing to turn little monkeys into gorillas overnight, just through David. Friend. And he's moving forward. Everybody seems to think they know his story better than him. He having to ask, and not even ask, ear hustle strangers, people he don't even know, so he can learn more about his own situation. Friend. You had better keep going, friend. We've come too far to turn around. You got to keep moving. One foot in front of the other. Tired is an understatement. The world wouldn't think David should have been tired. He was exhausted. Hadn't even fought Saul, never raised a sword to Saul, but exhausted. Nobody would think he was worthy to be exhausted. But nobody will want to be him either. They will want the glory. At the end, they will want the glory. They will want to relive it, reimagine it. But the reality of it, they wouldn't want no parts of it. Because what it took was beyond physical strength. Had nothing to do with physical strength. It had to do with self-control. 1,000%. It had to do with an inner resolve that connected him to real power without ever seeing it, without ever touching it, without it ever presenting itself before him in the form of a burning bush or in the form of any type of visualization. He would never have that. he would have crystals in the form of the ephod. That's all he would have. An alignment. That's it. God will give David the least. He would bear the weight of all the mistakes that had come before him. One person bearing the weight of the mistakes of those that came before him. The two kings that failed. Nimrod and Saul. Nimrod was somewhat of a king. He was. And Saul was king. And that's the story. He would get given the least. God would allow every opportunity to present itself in David's life for him to show aspects of himself. Opportunities in David's life came upon him as conflict, frustrations, easy ways out of hard situations. It would have been nothing for the man to encroach upon Saul. He did it several times. Showed him, look, I'm showing you mercy. Look how close I am to you. You know how I do it. I easily could do this, that, and the other. He does these things. The same way people will say today, well, why are you preaching to the choir? These people have no character. Why are you speaking to them? These people have no moral code. Why are you showing them this, that, and the other? It's the same thing with David when it comes upon Saul. And he says, look, I did this to you. I took a piece of your clothing. Look how close I got. I got your water bottle. Friend. And you know his men were saying, why are you showing him so much grace? Why are you doing it this way? And David is saying to him, because I'm bound to it. The same way Samuel was. Saul could not make David a martyr. Why? Because David was covered by the power of God. David knew his saving grace was the power of God. Throughout the plethora of options that David could have pulled from in his walk, the abundance that sat before him at the buffet table of decisions as it related to how he would interact with Saul. He never allowed himself to fall out of alignment, because sure, he could have a temporary win in fulfilling his ego and doing as the people will want him to do and fulfill his ego. But it will cost him his alignment to God. Friend. Same way for many of you. That's too expensive. Saul is cheap. Saul come a dime a dozen, friend. I'm not about to spend so much on so little. He's not worth it. So if I have to discipline myself enough to just keep going with this, because I don't have a choice. David didn't have a choice. Where was he going to go? He tried to go to the Philistines. They rejected him. His reputation was too strong. He loved his house too much. Nobody would ever believe that he would betray it. His reputation preceded him in that way. And it will continue to precede itself throughout his many walks with Saul. So much so that at the end of his walk, when it's all said and done, that they will want to be the king, but they would not want what it took to be the king. They wouldn't want no parts of being Saul. They would want to be David. Yet they would not want what it took to really be David. In that part of the conversation, they conveniently leave out what it really took, what it takes. And David would not be able to speak to what it takes in its fullness until he was crowned king. Because it took a lot. It was expensive to be David. When you saw David, you saw royalty, regality, fine tuning. Expensive substance. I'm not staying on long. Y'all. So for all of you that look to all of you that enter rooms where you feel like you're the last to know, don't take it personal. Don't. You might be the last to know. And think of it as a gift. Because if you did know, it would probably only frustrate you. So in that, ignorance truly is bliss. It truly is. Extend your gifts in love, because you can understand those people and the reasons why they feel the way that they do, or view you the way that they do, or what have you. But they could never truly understand you. Not when your walk is to such a degree. They couldn't. This is my word for you today. You love more than you'll ever know. Go sit. I never stop telling you. I don't have my glasses over here, so I can't see. What's going on? Be good to yourselves. And be good to one another. Peace and love.